It's some T codes, and this is the part 2 of our RecyclerView series. Now in this video we'll be creating a recycle view from our concept. If you missed the concept video, you could check out the part 1. We're also going to create a list, we'll create an adapter, and then we'll tie it all together. So let's get on with it. Create a new Android Studio project, choose a name, click next, choose the activity. We're going with scrolling activity, choose next, choose a name for your activity, and then you click on finish. Once your Gradle build is done, what I personally like to do first is to remove anything I won't be needing, and one of them is this floating button here, so I'll try to take that off. Having a look at what I intend to achieve, I now have an image on top, then a recycle view. So in my app bar layout, I'm going to add an image view there, which will help the image view to scroll out of view when it's being scrolled. Now for this image view, my scale type will be center crop. Center crop normally zooms in to your image to make you fill up the view and centralizes it. So I'll just get an image to use and paste it in my drawable folder. When that is done, you go to the layout, which Android Studio normally includes. That is this. Then all the other contents you don't want to scroll out of the view should be added here. Scroll out of the screen rather should be added here. So in this next scroll view, I'll add a linear layout, and I'll add a text view here. Now I'll just tweak the size, the padding, then I'll use gravity to center it at the middle of the view. Then the ash or gray background. Okay, that looks good. Increase that a little. Now the next thing I need to have here is my recycle view, which is going to be the list of those products that I just saw. So I just give this an ID because I know I'll need to reference it from my Java activity. Now when creating a recycle view, one of the things you need is like layouts that will act as a unit for each list. It's like a form where you get that has the fields you need to fill. So this layout is going to be like a representative of that form. It's going to show you all the fields needed and what needs to be filled. Because I want to use card view, I'll just quickly add a dependency for that. And my Gradle is done. Change that to card view. Now when that is done, I'll create a linear layout. I'll use horizontal as the orientation. This will house my two other layouts that will contain the image and the detail. So I will have another layout to contain my image, and another layout to contain the details. That's how I plan to achieve this. Now for the width of this, I'll be using 0dp, and the reason for that is because I want to let the phone decide the sharing formula, and we do that by using layout width. Now this width will calculate the screen size and decide what ratio of widths it should use in sharing that. So I want my image view to be a bit bigger, so you could see the width is bigger than that of the details. Then I'll just put an ID for all the layouts I need to reference in my Java side. I'll go ahead and add my image view onto match parent. I'll also use center crop as my scale type, so it zooms on the image, make sure it fills the view, but then it doesn't stretch it, it just places it at the center. Oh, I just made a mistake. The ID should be for the image view. Then here, what do I need? I need 2 text views, one for the name and one for the price. Now for some things, I'm using tools namespace. Now the reason for that is sometimes you don't want to hard code some things like text, images, but you just want to see how they will look. So the tools namespace enables you to put those things. You can see them in your Android Studio, but when you move them over to your device, they won't be visible. So I know I will be changing the product name dynamically, so I just felt, or I think it's a good practice not to, hard code the text itself there, and just let the Java side do everything for you. Now to get some fonts which are not originally in Android Studio, you could quickly go to the design tab, which I'll show you in a moment. Choose the text view you want. Then when you go to font family, you choose more fonts. Then you'll be able to browse through Google's library of fonts. Take add to project that it downloads, then click OK, and that's that. So I normally use that when I want to get some better looking fonts. So I'm using Lato. Now the second thing I'm doing here is just creating the second text view for the price. It's supposed to be bolder and bigger. So I'll also use at fonts Lato bold, and I think I'll still apply bold as text style. Okay, one more thing is to just add a background to the layout that houses my details. Okay, I think that looks good. So now we have like a unit of what each property design should look like. So the next thing we're going to do is to create a Java class. This will be list units. Now, just like how we did in XML, this Java class, what it does for us is it defines all the things the form is going to have. Not a form, but like a form is going to have, like when you have a form that has a name, email, phone, address. So just imagine this like a form. So I know for our product, we're going to need the name, we're going to need the price, we're going to need image. Now for this tutorial, for this particular one, I'm not going to use string for my images. I will do that in the later parts of the tutorial where I'll show you how to get image from a web server and move it onto the application. But for now, I'll just use int because I'm going to refer to images I'm going to store in the drawable folder. So I think I have all I need. Now I'm just going to create an object that will be accessible from other activities. So let's say we want to access this class now, which is our list unit. So I'll create a public list unit class, which I'm going to pass in some certain things. I'm going to pass in a string. I'm going to pass in the price, sorry, string name, then price. I'm going to pass in an image. I'm going to pass in a color. I'm going to pass in a view color, just like someone now actually filling the form you gave the person. So that's what this is all about. Now I'm going to assign what the person filled to the fields they're supposed to be. So the name should be the P name that is passed, which I have there. The price should be the price that is passed or filled by the person in quotes. The color the same, the image the same, and all other things. Now next thing I'll do is just to set a getter and setter method for all of them. Then I think I'm done with this guy. The next thing would be to create an adapter, like a secretary that arranges everything, make sure everything looks nice. That's what adapter is all about. Now this adapter, okay, let me just put a comment there. Now this adapter is going to extend the RecyclerView adapter, and the adapter is going to be a placeholder which I'm going to create later. There are two major things we're going to pass to this adapter, which is the list that has been filled and the context, that is where is it coming from. So we're giving the secretary the list of forms that have been filled and tell him, oh, it's coming from this department, it's coming from that department. So then I'm going to create a class which is going to be accessible from any activity. It's going to be that list adapter. Now we're passing in the context and the list. Now this is the guy that comes to drop the list with the secretary. There are some methods we need to override. The first one is the onCreateViewHolder. Now to bring up that dialog box you saw, just press Ctrl O and that comes up. So this override method is the onCreateViewHolder. And this is like a folder that contains the form. So the view, which is going to be our folder, is the one we just created. So I'm going to inflate a view and then refer that XML that we just create, which is the list unit that we just created, which is the list unit XML. Create a new view holder. Then I want this method to return my view holder, not null. So change this null to return the view holder we just created. Now another method we're going to override is the unbind view holder. So this is the guy that actually takes the views in our layout and fill it up with something. It gets the position, if it's the first, if it's the second position, if it's the third position, it fills it up with what we want. So we know we're going to be filling up the image view, we're going to be filling up the text view, the two text views, which is the product name and the product price. We're going to be filling that. So this is where it does all these things. So we're going to tell it that the list we need is the list we passed to it. So it gets the position, whether it's the first list, whether it's the second list. Like having a bunch of forms, you take the first form, take the values from there, you place them somewhere, take the second form. That's what the position is all about. But before I go on, I'll create the class of my view holder, so I can define my views here. This needs to create a class of its own, so I'll define my views here. Now notice there's another override method which I placed, which is the get item count. I forgot to mention that. It returns the size of the list. So I'm defining my views here. Just quickly do all of that. Now I can see that my views are not coming out. Studio is not suggesting it for me. So when you have something like that happening, you're sure the view is there, but then they're not being suggested to you. What you could do is to clean up your project. I'm going to do that in a bit. Let me just cross check. Yes, my views are there. I know they are there. So all I need to do is whenever I'm done, I'll just clean, or I can run the project. It will help, sync the Gradle again. So after defining your views, you head back to the unbind view holder and set your views to be filled up with certain things. We're going to fill up the product name with the name gotten from the list unit. So we're going to go with set text, then list unit get name. Do the same thing for price, product price. Set the text to get price. I'm also going to set the color of the name and the price. Now just I'll add a Naira sign to my price. Well, I'm a Nigerian and that's the currency we use, so add the Naira sign. Then next thing I need to do, it's my image. I'm gonna set the image resource. Now this is why I used integer, because my image resource is coming from my drawable folder. Then next thing I'm gonna set the color of the detail layout. Then I'm gonna head over to my main activity, and then I'm gonna actually define the view of the recycle view, initialize the recycle view, and then I'm actually going to fill those forms in quotes that I've been talking about. Basically, I'll create an array list which will have all those things: the price, the name, the image, and the colors. I'll create 1, 2, or 3 of them and pass them to my adapter to do all the work for me. Now for my recycle view, I'll just create a layout manager for it. Layout manager. Use a linear layout manager. Then I also need an adapter. Now I'm going to set an adapter here. Of course, the adapter will have empty results to work with. So then just below the list I just made, I'll add a notify change to let the adapter know that, oh, okay, someone has come to fill those forms that you needed. So therefore, some things have changed. So I'll set my recycle view, initialize adapter, set adapter. At this stage, the adapter has nothing to work with. So after the list, I'll tell the adapter that the list has been updated, work with the updated list. After which I'm going to test my program. Now it's crashed. Oh well, normally happens. So I could see my color. There must be something wrong with my color. Okay, the hash, the ampersand, whatever it's called, I missed that. So I'm going to put that back and test it again and see what happens. Okay, that works, but the colors are reversed. My bad. They're reversed, so I'm just going to change that. Reverse the colors. The color for the layout was used for the text and vice versa. So I'll just quickly change that and run the program again. So that's it, a recycle view of products from the concept done in Photoshop and then coded in Android Studio. So in later parts of this tutorial, we'll be looking at how to get data from a web server to populate the list. We're going to go from structuring the data to fetching it, downloading images, getting new changes, using the swipe, refresh, and so many other things. So if you liked the video or found it helpful in any way, kindly subscribe to my channel. You can also leave a comment and hit the like button. So till next time, it's Something Codes. Bye guys.